Do I have a motion to go back into open?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Arms. Second? All in favor? Aye. We are in open. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the Aldine School Gymnasium. Just wanted to say we were in executive session for approximately 45 minutes, and 4 items we were going over, and that was one was for the following subjects of matter of attorney-client privilege. That was number 1. Number 2 was personnel, merit goals. 3 was personnel, employee resignation, and then 4 was negotiations with the RPEA. No action was taken. With that said, we'll move on to the first public participation portion of the evening tonight for agenda items only. If you have a question about a certain agenda item, please come forward, state your name, address, and what you'd like to speak on.
Jacob McGarrett, 612 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, viewing audience, members of the board. Please explain resolution exception session. That was closed session, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Personnel, merit goals. What is merit goals?
Good evening, Mr. McJarrett. That merit goals is what's that? It's on number 7. That's pertaining to superintendent's merit goals. And we were discussing those. We were finalizing them because they needed to be submitted to the state by, what was the date? It was October 1st. And those are the 3 merit goals, 1 quantitative and 2 qualitative goals for Mr. Garrido this year.
Is your microphone on, Mr. Miller?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yes. It was for the 3 merit goals on number 7 in the agenda, which is on page 4. 1 quantitative and the 2 qualitative goals.
Were there any closed session items that were resolved? And what were you in closed session for?
Well, we stated the 4 items. Mr. Majera, the matters of attorney-client privilege, the merit goals, as we just talked about. Personnel, there was an employee resignation, and also an update on the negotiations.
Item 1, district substitutes. Would you please explain that? That it printed under the certified teachers, that's 0.00 type. You just about make it out.
Oh, the small type?
Well, that's the rate per day for each of those categories.
For certified teachers, it's $100 per day. For sub-certified, it's $95 per day. Lunch aid, $9.36 per day. Or, no, oh, I'm sorry, that's a typo. That should be per hour. Thank you, Mr. Gurdon. And the custodian, substitute custodian is $13 per hour. And then the secretary is $75 a day.
Item 18. Please explain the grant.
Number 18, Jake, is a grant that I applied for through the New Jersey Insurance Group. It's a safety grant, and we were awarded $5,841 to utilize in our school district for items that would help safety in our buildings, and we have plans to add some additional security cameras, some fencing, and this grant will help pay for part of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Saul Kirsten, 150 Berlin Street. Agenda items actually 2 and 3. Will these be position to be filled at a later date. And number 3, Ms. Green, is it just from a position or she's retiring entirely?
She's retired. She's retiring entirely from the district.
Item number 6. The last 2 columns just gives a letter and an asterisk, and I guess the asterisk is pending negotiations, but I don't know what B is.
I'm sorry?
The letter B, what does that mean? Besides it goes after A.
In the RPA contract, these positions are part of what's known as Schedule C, which are extracurricular activities at the high school. That particular chart has dollar amounts assigned to the positions, and there are two columns of dollar amounts. Column A is for someone brand new to the position, and column B is for someone who has fulfilled the position previously. So these people listed here are people who have done the position in the past. So that's why they're a B instead of an A. And the dollar amounts are something that is involved in current negotiations, and since we have not fully ratified yet, the dollar amounts could not be listed. But we will disclose them as soon as the contract is ratified on both sides. It's just putting the people in the position, and we felt since these are fall positions, it was important to legally at least state that these people are going to be given and are serving in those positions.
Thank you for the difference. So there's only 2, A and B. Is that the only 2?
In Schedule C, all high school extracurricular activities, and there's a long list. And I believe if you go back to our August agenda, you'll find in the August agenda the rest of the appointments. These were not done at that particular time because they were part of the ongoing negotiations.
Will they be paid at the previous rate and then retroactively?
They will be paid at whatever the two sides agree to in negotiations.
But until then, so they don't get paid.
They get,
Thank you. Wait,
there wasn't a rate for the wording listed there, okay? There's a slight change in those positions, and that's why they were not listed previously.
so they're not getting paid. Or they're getting paid at the previous rate until the new rate is agreed, and then retroactively that increases.
Well, we are very optimistic that negotiations will be finalized before the end of the fall season.
I understand that, but
So they don't
suppose-
get paid until the
Okay,
end of
thank
the
you.
fall season
That's what I wanted to
anyway.
hear.
So we should have full information, and we'll share that with you
Thank you.
at that time.
Number 7. And please, this is nothing, this is just, oh, it's you, you're the person, so I guess it is kind of personal. But the 3% of the salary that is accumulated, in other words, if all 3 are fulfilled, it becomes an 8.33% of the salary.
Correct.
Okay. And are these 3 goals the same or similar to last year's goals? I don't have them with me, that's why I'm asking.
Well, they definitely surround, they are similar as far as concerning the last 2 concerning student achievement. Because student achievement is a big goal. Student achievement is a big goal with the board. And as well, yes, community involvement and communication, yeah, that was similar to this goal. So we're kind of like ratcheting it up a little bit more. And what's that? Yes,
This
or
is-
building, ratcheting
Yeah,
up,
there
yes.
you go.
Whatever synonym you
It's
use.
not just the 1 year that you have to keep on continuing.
Correct, right,
You go further,
correct.
you get your achievement that you want to get.
Gotcha.
Or the point you
So
want.
it's, this 10% is above last year's, whatever that was, for the quantitative one. In
Yes,
other words,
for the
just give me
parent
the
meetings.
figure, right, if it
Yes.
was 5%, it would be 10% over that 5%.
Correct.
Thank you. Now, just a really silly question, many of mine. If the superintendent goes under, if it's 9%, is there a stipulation that he gets some percentage, or it's all or nothing? So if 8% is reached, is there a scale? So if 8% as opposed to 10% is reached, does he get 0, or does he get a percentage of that 3.33? Am I kind of making sense or not?
Is there a sliding scale for it?
Yeah.
The county
Yes.
superintendent.
It's possible to get a portion of that
Okay.
percent. That would become a discussion between the board and ultimately needs to be approved by the county superintendent in order to actually be executed and paid.
But that is not in the wording right now.
That's the requirement at law. That this is only to approve Mr. Garrido to actually work on the goals.
Okay.
At the end of the cycle,
Is the
pursuant
negotiation.
to his contract and what's required by statute, he has to actually have his work approved by the
Okay.
county before there's payment.
So then if he goes 12%, does he get more?
No.
Okay, so 3.33 is the ceiling. Okay. Number 12, agenda item number 12. So I'll just read the section that just to me is weird. To certify that the findings were discussed at the October 6th, 2015 public meeting. I presume it will be discussed before agenda 12 is voted on. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I think that was about it. Oh, I'm sorry, for 18. That's a one-time grant, I presume. Or one. Can it be applied for every year? Or or is it up to the organization to provide that grant?
It's up to the organization to provide the grant. We have applied and have received it for a number of years. However, there was 1 year, and I believe it was around the time of the hurricanes, and there was extensive damage in many school districts. The following year, New Jersey School Insurance Group did not offer the grant. Whether that had anything to do with the hurricanes and the damage, I'm not sure. But
Thank
we
you.
received it several times,
Thank
but
you.
they don't always offer it every year.
Seeing there is no one else, we'll close the first public participation portion of the evening tonight for agenda items only. And now we're on to committee reports. Does anyone have a committee report they'd like to speak on? Seeing that there is none, we'll go to the superintendent's report. Good evening, Mr. Guido.
Good evening, Mr. Miller. Good evening, everyone. I would like to begin my superintendent's report by reading a prepared statement. The Office of Fiscal Accountability and Compliance, better known as OFAC, initiated an investigation in the district in the fall of 2013 with respect to the testing procedures utilized on the 2012 New Jersey Assessment of Skills and Knowledge, better known as NJASC, in grade 4 at Aldine Elementary School. The Roselle Park School District fully complied with OFAC's requests for documentation, and the investigation was completed on September 16, 2015. The review was initiated in response to irregularities in student answer patterns during the test administration. The investigation included a review of district testing procedures and interviews with staff members and students. The investigators conducted interviews with 8 staff members and 23 students who participated in the 2012 NJASC at Aldine. and reviewed the testing data provided by the testing company as well as the test administration documents provided by the district. OFAC concluded that although staff members and students interviewed did not provide substantial evidence of assistance during the examination, the high wrong-to-right erasure rates, along with unusual testing gains from 2011 to 2012, indicated the probability of assistance. Based on the results of the investigation, OFAC determined that the district would not be issued a corrective action plan, and following its review, OFAC did not conclude that any breaches in procedures occurred in the district. It was further determined that based upon the information gathered throughout the investigation, the case will be closed and the matter will not be forwarded to the Board of Examiners for further review. A copy of the report will be placed on the district's website. Again, this matter is now closed and no further action is required by the district. Thank you. Okay, let's continue with my superintendent's report. This week is being recognized in the Roselle Park School District. That's the week of respect. The week of October 19th will be recognized as Violence Prevention Week. Many activities throughout the district will be held, including classroom lessons, counselors' activities, and assemblies in some of the buildings. Also, the Roselle Park Public School District has been selected for participation in the Improving the Preschool Classroom Environment for Young Children with Disabilities. This is a pilot program for the 2015-2016 school year. Of the 65 applicants, our district was one of 21 selected. So we are very proud of that, and we want to congratulate our Director of Special Education, Ms. Mormello, as well as our Early Childhood Director, Ms. Siciliano, for their effort. This is a great opportunity for the district, this pilot. The first of the 10 superintendents chat was held at Sherman School. We had 12 parents participate in an informal discussion of a school district. Parents had an opportunity to share ideas, ask questions, share some of their concerns. I believe it was a very productive meeting. I'm looking forward to future meetings. The next meeting is scheduled for October 19th at the Roselle Park High School, and then October 28th at Robert Gordon Elementary School. So I'm looking forward to more participation and hopefully continued discussion. And if any questions, any ideas come up, I'll be more than happy to listen to them. All back to school nights concluded on October 1st with Sherman's back to school night. They were all well attended. Parents' participation was wonderful, and it was very successful throughout the district. So congratulations to our administrators in the buildings, our staff. They were wonderful. I stopped in some of them. We had some great PowerPoint presentations for the parents and so forth. So it was really a successful evenings. The technology initiative is moving along. Our one-to-one initiative at the middle school will be rolled out in November as previously planned. So students are very excited, and we're looking forward with anticipation to a very successful technology initiative. So again, overall, we're all very excited and pleased with the status of the school district. Our teachers are excited, students are motivated, and we're looking forward to a wonderful school year full of success. And with that, I conclude my superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garrido. And now we're on to personnel, where I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 1 through 7. 1 being district substitutes, 2 being staff resignations, 3 being staff retirement, 4 being staff appointments, 5 being leave of absence requests, 6 being high school extracurricular advisors, 2015-2016, and 7 being superintendent merit goals. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Harms, second. Mr. Burton. Any questions or comments? Yes.
I just wanted to say that we are going to accept the retirement, of course, of Mrs. Green, but we are very, very thankful for all the many years of service to our district, the wonderful musical education she provided for our students, and also provided for the families in this town. It's been a really wonderful run, and definitely feel the own retirement. Thank you, Mrs. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Anyone else? I echo your sentiments to Mr. Nelson concerning Mrs. Green, and we wish the other 3 who are retiring and moving on, and we wish them well. Roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Vice President Harms,
Yes.
Mr. Balaban, Mr. Bowman,
Yes.
Mr. Bruckenstein, Mr. Dam, Mr. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Nelson, Mr. Vita,
Yes.
President Miller.
Yes.
On roll call, motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. And now we're on to education, where I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 8 through 12. 8 being education programs, 9 being educational trip requests, 10 being Roselle Park High School marching band, 11 being Title I parental involvement policies and parent compacts, 2015-2016, and 12 the OFAC report. Mr. Nelson, second. Mr. Burton, second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Those items are passed. And now we move on to business, where I'd like someone to make a motion to approve agenda items 13 through 18. 13 being district contracts, agreements, 14 being approval of bills, 15 being use of buildings and grounds, 16 being approval of minutes, 17 being nursing services plan, 18 being grant acceptance. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Harms, second.
Second.
Mr. Vita. Any questions or comments?
Mr. President, I just wanted to abstain from number 16, only the open session on the 22nd of September. I was unable to attend. I was here for the closed session, but I had to leave because of the schedule conflict. My son had back to school night that evening, but everything else is okay.
So noted, Mr. Nelson. Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Miller, I too was going to abstain from voting on those minutes on 8-2, 9-8 and 9-22, open and closed. I was in attendance. I'm not sure what that does though, because that's.
Okay. So we'll remove 16 and put it on, we will put that on the next agenda, since we do not have 5 to vote on it. Anyone else? Just real quick on number 18, good job, Mrs. Gercio, on getting that grant for our district, for the safety programs. And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Those items are passed, and now we're on to continuing business. Does anyone have continuing business? Do we have new business?
I just want to share an observation here, and I know it was brought up by a member of the public last year about the fencing around the perimeter here. I guess this was driven by here multiple times, but this is the first time I've actually walked in here since that fencing was put up, and it looks good. Is it locked during the day? And how does that work?
Yes.
It is locked off. So we are able to keep all cars off of the property. Fantastic. It looks great. And I do know that Mr. Balbin had a concern with the fencing. Oh, shoot. I'm not sure if it was. No, it was on it was either on Fate 2 here or along, for the life of me, can't remember the street.
Lincoln?
Myrtle,
Myrtle?
the back, well, this is Myrtle.
Yeah, no, the height.
Lincoln.
Lincoln. Yeah, was the fence curled or something? And the reason I bring it up is I know that he was concerned that on the playground it was curled in a particular area. If we could just, it just dawned on me as we were walking in, the fence looked good. Just want to make sure that safety hazard has been remedied. I'm sure it has been.
I think it's been addressed, but I will bring it
Thank you.
to Assunta's attention and check it out again.
Right. Pardon us for a moment. I just wanted to say, I want to send a thank you out to the town and the DPW for the last meeting. Mr. Dam made a request about an old conduit or something that's in the ground on Grand Ave by Sherman. That was for an old school, a school sign, a flashing sign for the school that was taken out, but there was still like a metal, like maybe 10 inches of metal sticking out, which was a hazard. And I tell you what, I went running by there the next day or so, and it was gone, and it was covered. First, it was covered with cones, but then it was covered over with topsoil, and it was taken out. So, thank you, Councilwoman Story, for working on that and getting that done. We appreciate that, and for the safety of our children. Okay. Okay.
No, we don't know.
Okay. All right, great. So, on that note, that was new business, and now we're on to our second public participation portion of the evening. If you'd like to come up, state your name, address, and anything you'd like to speak about.
Hello, Alicia Marino, 225 West Colfax Avenue. I wanted to come out tonight and say thank you, especially to Mr. Garrido. He had his superintendent's meet and greet.
Oh, that's much better. He had the superintendent's meet and greet, which I think, like he said, was a big success. Some of the issues, some of us parents addressed was the heat in Aldine building with lack of air conditioning, and he said, it is being looked into, which we appreciate. He also told me he's going to look into our fans, which when I saw him that night, I told him there were 3 of 4, but when I come here tonight, I see there's another one gone. So I appreciate you looking into getting our fans and at least getting those up and running, because I know that would make a big difference, so thank you for that. The one thing I did want to bring up tonight was I was in the school last week for the book fair, and it was indoor gym, and just a concern that you might want to address or look into. We have a lot of tables for the lunchroom in here, and as the kids are running around during gym class, balls are hitting into the tables, children are going towards the tables, and it really seemed to create kind of a hazardous environment. I don't know if there's maybe some type of a storage unit that could be used to put them into or to secure them better. It just seemed a little dangerous when I was here. And I know with winter coming, there's going to be a lot of indoor gym classes. And with the full-day kindergarten, we have more tables than we ever did before. So that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Moran.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want me to go?
Stacy Feschek, 229 Pershing Avenue. I would like to advise the board that the RPEA today voted to ratify the proposed contract.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ms. Festival.
Saul Kears, 150 Berlin Street. Actually, getting back to the agenda, 13, that was the one I looked over. Are these 3 personnel members of the Flemington-Raritan Regional School District, or are they members of are they from here?
They're reading recovery teachers, and they are the 3 reading recovery teachers in our 3 elementary buildings, 1 from each building. And it's
So what's the
ongoing
agreement for?
training.
I'm sorry?
What's the agreement for them?
They,
Yes.
Technical support for reading?
Yes, that's an ongoing, continuing professional development that all reading recovery to be able to be certified on an annual basis. They have to go to ongoing training. So we go into an agreement with the site that provides that professional development.
So that school district provides the support, and that's who the agreement is with? for the two teachers in this district.
Right.
And I get confused easily sometimes.
No problem.
Thank you. For the three board members absent, just for the record, Mr. Brokenstein, Mr. Dem, and Mr. Bellabent, all three notified of their absence. Thank you. Regarding the OFAC report, I was trying to write my notes, and I guess I'll open or I'll get it later, but indicated probability of, you said it for the finding was that there was an indication, or indicated probability of, and I didn't write the other thing down, but that there would be no corrective action plan. So,
There will be no correction action plan.
and what was the probability of, was it assistance?
Assistance.
So the corrective action plan means there's basically not going to be anything further.
Nothing further.
Okay. Does that do anything towards like grant or funding or any future?
No, it does not.
When will the report be up on the website?
Tomorrow.
Thank you. And the technology initiative for November, is that when the laptops will be distributed?
Correct.
Are there courses that, okay, so they're distributed in November.
Mm-hmm.
Are there courses? Is there going to be an orientation? What is the protocol for that?
Teachers already have been attending professional development on using some of the applications that are going to be used. Obviously, the first few months will be almost, learn as you go process. But teachers already have been provided with professional development.
Okay. Will there be courses starting in January? In other words, so they're given the laptops,
Right.
and they're
They're not just going to sit there. They're going to be using
like, here you go, kids. Have fun.
What we will be doing is we'll be integrating more of the
Okay.
curriculum with the technology.
That's what I
Okay.
mean.
Well, there's going to be
I guess that's
technology,
what the training
computer
is
classes like we
for.
have been doing, yes.
Okay.
There will be computer classes and technology classes as we have been doing.
And this is just for the middle school.
Right now, it's just for the middle school. However, the elementary schools, in the spring, they're going to be getting the devices that are being used by the middle school now. So the elementary schools are also
Okay.
going to benefit.
Got it.
Yes.
Currently, there are laptops being used. Those will be tiered down.
Tiered down to the elementary.
Okay. And these will be returned at the end of the year?
Yes, they will be collected at the end of the school year.
Okay. How many snow days are there this year?
How many are we going to have? I don't
Well, I'm asking because...
know. We built in 5 days.
Okay. No, because if it had made a left instead of a right, Joaquin could have made a school closing.
Right, right.
And that would begin to affect those, I guess they're not called snow days, are they called snow days? Inclement weather days, thank you.
Right, inclement weather.
Could be almost anything.
Right. Not a good day.
We're already up planned in the calendar to make up any day.
That's during the spring break, I presume, right?
Some during the spring break. There's one in February that we will be opening if we have snow before, if we have really bad snow winter.
And as always, so I now have a youngster in the kindergarten. I don't recall ever signing up for any notification. Will we, in case of a school closing, do we automatically get added to some list?
Yes, you will.
Your email address?
Emergency contact form.
Okay.
Right from the emergency contact, you will get, it goes into Genesis, therefore it will go into the old call, email blast and phone
Call
call.
every number you know.
Yeah. You'll get an email, you get a phone call. And then you'll get another one. You're not going to sleep the night before it snows, believe me.
Mrs. Green, does anyone know how many years she has been in the district?
Mrs. Green was my music teacher when I was in elementary school at Robert.
5 years ago.
10 years ago.
5 years
Wow.
ago. 30 years ago.
See, you try to be nice.
I believe she said 31 years when I met
Okay.
with her, but it's in that vicinity.
All right. And I wrote something, October 19th, the high school.
Yes.
Oh, that's your next?
That's my next superintendent's meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Garrett 612 Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. Have we been compensated by the children that were illegally in our school system last period? And how much?
They moved out of the district. We didn't have any. If we did have tuition students, they obviously paid for it. But any students that were found to live out of district, they were removed from the district and moved out to whatever district they attend.
The parents moved out? Or
The parents moved out. Sometimes they stayed. We found out through any type of information that we received, and therefore they were removed and transferred to their district.
is it policy that the truant officer or someone responsible to go out on Sundays and Saturdays?
He has. We do work with an investigator that goes out and knocks on doors. Yes, it could be at night and it could be on weekends as well. Yes.
All right, and apparently we don't have any bullies this month. Also last year.
There were two.
What page is that on?
No, there was no reports on it.
No reports on
On the agenda, no reports.
No reports on the agenda.
It's what page?
None.
No,
There is
no reports.
None.
Oh, so no bullies.
No reports on the
Okay.
agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, may I speak for a second?
Sure, Mr. Curtin.
I want to thank Ms. Fetzcheck for coming to us and delivering some good news there. I want to acknowledge the work of the RPA committee that we spent many summer evenings with this past few months. And thank you, Mr. Bowman and Mr. Rita, for your contributions as well. Having heard this news of the ratification by the union, we will review it as a board and be prepared to have that on the agenda for the coming meeting, the next board meeting. So, on the 20th? On the 20th. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curtin. And now we'll close the second public participation portion of the evening, and I would like someone to make a motion for us to conclude our session. Mr. Harmon, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bowman. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. And our next board meeting will be here on October 20th in the gymnasium. Have a good evening, everyone.